Hey babes, I am I'm going live again. Um I was gonna do this as a regular video, but I kind of like going live because I don't have to or I don't edit these and I can just kind of say what I need to say and get the information out. So today um I wanted to talk about how your social media usage and how you use social media and how you consume content on social media might be contributing to you being ill or to you being unhealthy. Now, I know there's a lot of conversation all the time about how we need to cut our social media consumption, how we need to cut our screen time because it's a distraction. But the fact of the matter is, even with that, most of us are still going to spend, I would say, a nice size or a sizable amount of time on social media. And so, what I want to do today is to give you some tips, give you some hacks for having better social media use when you are on these platforms. And I'm going to, at the end, I will talk about cutting your social media usage, but I wanted to start out with how using social media can be unhealthy for us, what I'm seeing, what I'm noticing, and some things that I've even done for myself and what I've noticed after implementing these things. And then I'll talk a little bit more about cutting screen time at the end and some hacks and strategies that I have for that. So, and I got me some notes here, that's why I keep looking down. So, one of the ways that social media is keeping us unhealthy is these stupid algorithms. There's really no way around it. But I want you to really understand that the algorithm exists because, or the algorithm is feeding you what you like to watch, what you like to consume. And so I have some strategies. I have a three-step strategy that I have used, I've actually implemented to clean up my social media because I think it's made me a healthier person just because of the type of content that I'm consuming now. And I'm more mindful about what I'm consuming now and more strategic about what I'm consuming now. And if you are coming in, make sure that you like this video. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Okay, so the first thing that I suggest or recommend doing with your social media is doing I'll call it an unfollow spree, right? So we are going to, this is probably going to surprise you, but if you watch my content or if you are watching wellness content, there's a good chance that you are probably consuming someone's content that is extreme. And I would even go so far as to say, like, some of the things they do are disordered. So if you watch someone whose wellness content or health or fitness content makes you feel uneasy, something about it makes you feel uneasy. Maybe this person is fasting like all the time, a ridiculous amount of time. Maybe they are very strict, and I don't mean like they eat a healthy diet. I mean like they take it to an extreme. I want you to unfollow that person because consuming content like that is not healthy for you. Even if that person might look healthy, even if what they are doing seems to look good, it's aspirational or it feels aspirational at first, in the long term, that is not going to be healthy for you. And it can drive you to have some poor or extreme habits. We want to be consuming content from people who are more well-rounded, who believe in some level of moderation, who are just not following these strict extremes that are actually unhealthy. The next group of people that I want you to unfollow is people who are constantly either eating unhealthy foods, or if you have a family member and they're always cooking their fried chicken and rice and whatever else, unfollow them. And the reason that I say that is because you are consuming this stuff with your eyes. So even though you may not be eating that, you're constantly looking at that. You're creating an appetite for yourself for that. So I had to go through my feed. I didn't realize how much unhealthy food stuff I was following because I originally started my account like it was a personal account. So like I don't need to watch people cooking ribs. I don't need to see. I have a family member that or I know someone that like makes desserts. I don't follow their content because those are just not things that I need to be consuming. I don't want to develop an appetite for that. And so I understand that we want to support people and we want to support their businesses and all that. But I draw the line at that when it comes at the expense of my wellness journey and my health. So I want you to unfollow people that are doing that. The other thing I want you to unfollow is negative accounts. And so that's gonna be like your gossip accounts, like the shade room. What's the other one? It's all those gossip accounts that are just putting. I know that they try to like do positive stuff now, but just unfollow them. Unfollow any kind of negativity, gender wars, all that stuff. Just unfollow it. Anything that's not uplifting, anybody that you're following that's always complaining, that's always bashing people, unfollow that stuff. And I know that we don't think about that as far as affecting our health, but it does. Because what's going to happen is if you are following that type of content, if you are consuming and interacting with that type of content, the algorithm is going to keep showing it to you and you're going to feel bad. You will emotionally feel bad from watching that stuff. So I want you to take the next time you are scrolling. I know that you might just be mindlessly scrolling, but instead of mindlessly scrolling, I want you for the next couple of weeks to start fine tuning your algorithm so that you are consuming healthier content. So, all of that type of content that I just mentioned, you're going to hit unfollow on those accounts. But another thing that you're going to need to do is to spend time hitting not interested. Because sometimes what'll happen is you will unfollow these things, but you will still be seeing that content because remember a lot of the content we actually see is from people we don't even follow. We never followed in the first place, but you might be seeing that content all the time. So I want you to hit not interested on posts that come up that are negative, that are people consuming things that you don't want to be consuming, people living lifestyles that you don't want to be living, people living these strict over the top lifestyles. Hit not interested on those things. And again, you're going to do this for like, if you, let's say you give yourself 15 minutes to scroll, set a timer, give yourself 15 minutes to scroll. And as you're scrolling, clean up your feed that way. Now, the next thing you're going to do after you've cleared out your feed, you've unfollowed the accounts, you've hit the not interested button, the next thing that you're going to do is to now you're going to populate your feed with things that you do want to see. So I actually made a little bit of a list here, but some things that you can search that to repopulate your feed with healthier, more positive content is wellness retreats, wellness travel. And by the way, this is like stuff that I follow. Specific type of recipes. So one thing that I'll do sometimes is if there's a food that I'm kind of obsessed with at the moment, let's say you are really into sweet potatoes right now. Search recipes for sweet potatoes and you're going to interact with that content that you are searching. Um, Non toxic beauty, clean beauty. Another thing you can do is if you're not following me on Instagram or if you're here from Instagram, go ahead and go ahead and tap any of the hashtags that I put in my post. And that's a quick, easy way to start to see more content that is health or wellness related. That's the type of stuff that you want now to populate your feed and interact with that content. Follow those creators who are putting out value for you with the type of content that they're putting out. And that's going to help you to clean up their feed and repopulate it with new stuff that you do want to see. Now, some tips for cutting back on your screen time. I know a lot of people are just like, I need to cut back on my screen time. And so you're like, I'm just gonna not pick up my phone. That's not really a good plan. So, some things that you can do to cut back on your screen time in general are I know for Android, and I think iPhones have it too, but there is a digital well being setting where you can actually put timers on your apps, and so it will lock your apps after you've been on there a certain amount of time. I think I give myself like an hour a day on Instagram. And that's just because I do some actual work on Instagram. And so whatever I don't get done in that hour just doesn't get done. But set those timers. Another thing that you can do is not always have your phone handy. Now, I get that if you're a caretaker, you have somebody you're responsible for, you need to be more available. But putting your phone maybe on the other side of the room so that if it's not a call, then you're not really tempted to pick it up. It's not just right there readily available to you. Another thing that you can do is, or that I recommend doing, is cutting off all your notifications. I get very few notifications because I just think it's a distraction in general. But I don't have any kind of notifications for social media on turned on my phone. And I do that because I don't want to spend more time on social media. So if you have these notifications constantly telling you somebody liked your post, somebody sent you a message, somebody did, some activity that is going to notify you, that causes you to pick up your phone more and be on social media more. Another thing that you can do is when you are on your phone scrolling using social media, something that I like to do is set a timer. So sometimes I'll just set a 15-minute timer because I'll only allow myself 15 minutes at a time. I'll set that 15-minute timer, and when it goes off, I just immediately close my phone or close my whatever app I'm in. Because for one thing, the timer pops up over the screen. And so it just breaks you out of that kind of trance that you get in when you're scrolling your phone. So I hope this was helpful. Let me make sure I didn't miss any comments or anything like that. Okay, I don't think so. So I hope you found this helpful. I really would like to see us be more mindful about our social media consumption and how it is negatively impacting your health. Taking in all this content, taking in all this negative content, taking in all this, I don't want to say the word because I don't think I can say the word on YouTube, but taking in this food, I call it food corn and all that for stuff that you really shouldn't be eating. You're just creating an appetite for yourself. And so I want you to start working on using your social media in your favor, using it to cultivate something different for yourself, a different type of appetite for yourself, a different type of aspiration, different aspirations for yourself as far as your health. I've been doing this for since last year and I've noticed a huge difference in my mood. Even when I feel like my social media consumption is a little bit high, I still feel like when I'm on there, I am getting helpful things. I am getting content that makes me feel good, content that I can actually use, that I can actually implement into my life. I am getting more positivity on my feed as opposed to seeing a bunch of negativity, junk food, and just things that are really going to cloud my judgment and cloud my thoughts. If you found this video helpful, leave me a comment below. I'm going to make this live. I'm going to try to do it immediately after. And I will catch you in the next video.